everyone, I'm Kairavi Bharatram, more commonly known as Miss Tipsy. I'm the founder of CEO of Typsy Beauty, and I'm also a mental health survivor. All my life, I've been known as the girl with her head in the clouds. So when I heard the topic for today's discussion and TED Talk, I was really relieved. Initially, I was a little worried because I myself graduated from school not too long ago and I didn't know if I had enough experience to offer insightful talk. But when it comes to dreams, there's a lot I can say. Dreams, I have a PhD in. Having dreams is something that has guided me through life, given me something to work towards and something to look forward to. Even when I was a child, the teachers only had one complaint at PTM. They would say, she's always daydreaming. And when I look back at it, I realized that isn't such a bad thing after all. I remember having a book of ideas. My sister and I were like idea machines. One day we wanted to have a toy store. One day we wanted to launch a cruise line. Every day came with a new idea and a new dream. I achieved many things at a young age, but most of them were because of these obnoxious dreams. At age 16, my friends and I started an NGO for rape victim awareness. But we dreamt so big, we turned it into a whole non-profit NGO that we actually imported rape pistols from China. At age 17, my sister and I wrote a poem on the Ramayana. But again, the dream was so big, it became a children's book published by Scholastic. Daring to dream big turned my ordinary achievements into something much larger. Who here had a crazy dream when they were small? Some people wanted to be astronauts, some wanted to be actors, doctors. When I was small, if someone asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would answer with famous. I didn't know how, I didn't know why, I just knew I wanted to be famous. Cut to class 12, about to graduate and enter the big world, and this confident, happy child who was always the life of the party turned into this quiet, self-conscious child who was diagnosed with depression. I got into my dream college, but I couldn't go because I was in such a bad state. The kind of state where I didn't leave my room for days and I used to cry the thought of having to face another day. At this stage, there were no dreams and no desires, just survival. I didn't bother to dream because I couldn't bear to think of my life ahead. At this time, I started watching a little bit of YouTube, stumbled into the world of beauty online where misfits from all walks of life came together to celebrate their love of makeup. Whether you were old, young, tall, short, fat, thin, light, dark, male, female, it didn't matter. And I loved the feeling of belonging that this community had. And I think that was the first time I realized that I wanted to do something in this space, and the first time the seed of my dream was sown. I got inspired and launched my own Instagram page where I would post makeup videos. I was terrible at it, as you can see. But there was a force inside me that made me keep going and didn't let me quit. Slowly, I realized that my days weren't as grey as before, and I used to wake up excited about shooting videos. Makeup had become like meditation for me. That 1 hour that I was creating a look, my mind was blank and free of all negative thoughts. That seed inside me grew a bit because I realized that I wanted to do something in this field. I wanted more people to feel the way that I did when I was introduced to this world of beauty. A very important part of the journey of working towards your dream is to figure out what gap you can capture. A dream is not tangible until there are steps to achieve it. And the first one is to figure out a problem that you can solve. When I was blogging, I was creating videos using international makeup products, but my followers were Indian and they wanted me to use products they had access to. When I tried to, I noticed a big gap in quality and an even bigger gap in excitement. While I was always waiting for the next Huda Beauty, Kylie product to launch to see what would the new packaging be, what would the names be, I had no interest in what Indian brands were doing because they just weren't differentiated enough. They all had the same products, the same packaging, just different logos. I noticed this and the wheels started turning in my mind. The thing with the dream is that you have to get obsessed with it. It has to be the only thing that you can think about. I eventually got better and went to study in London. I was studying fashion management, but my true learning was outside the classroom. I would go to the department store every single day to explore the makeup there. I would see what's new, compare between brands, and even spend time listening to customer conversations to see what they were looking for. I became like a beauty consultant to my friends and family and educated myself till I was an expert. Only then was I confident enough to even allow myself to dream of starting my own brand. I came home and told my dad that I finally had something I wanted to do. I expected great enthusiasm from his end. I thought he would give me money and say start. But I was shocked when he said, dreams are not enough. You have to have a plan. I approached one of my uncles who was in the fashion retail space and told him my plans and expressed my interest to be in the beauty industry. He saw my passion and he decided to come on board, but my dad still wasn't satisfied. He wanted me to be able to get external validation first. I was introduced to some investors and I put together a small deck the best I could. As someone who was 21 years old with no experience, you can only imagine how amateur it was. I told the investor about my great ideas and my products and my dream. He listened intently and then he said, "This is all great, but as a principal, I don't invest in rich kids." I have been very privileged to come from a business family background, but I never expected that to go against me. He explained that he believed that rich kids didn't have the same fire in their belly as someone who would be on the road if the business didn't work out. So I thought about it a bit and then I told him, fire in your belly doesn't just come from money. For 3 years of my life, I had no purpose, nothing to wake up for, nothing to look forward to, and now I do. I can't afford for this to fail either. My dream pulled me out the worst times and I have no choice but to make it work. He got convinced, invested, and that's how the journey began. Achieving your dreams always has an element of luck. I was lucky that my dream was in an industry that had so much potential. I was lucky that I had mentors who decided to take a bet on me, and I was lucky that I was able to turn what I enjoyed doing into my career. But with an industry that has a lot of potential also comes competition, and I think in hindsight I wasn't prepared for that. I was swept away in the fantasy of a brand and my love for product that I didn't do enough market research. I created products that were innovative and cool but didn't check if the people would understand the value of it. I was creating a brand that suited my taste versus something that there was a market for. And balancing these two things has been my biggest struggle. My dreams had a reality check and I realized that if I wanted to succeed, I would have to read the market better. I dreamt of being the Huda Beauty of India, of creating the most innovative products and taking it worldwide to show people that even an Indian brand can be a world leader in beauty. But very early I realized that for that I need to be a big brand in my country first. Until Tipsy is India's biggest brand, it can't make a difference at the world stage. And I realized soon that every customer was not like me and my friends, and that price was a very important factor. But controlling price meant I had to compromise on things that I wanted to create. And that was a tough pill to swallow. But when I created a product that I had done full research for, that was more pricing appropriate, I saw it actually sell, and that gave me such a high. I guess I'm trying to say, the dream does change along the way when reality hits, but that's okay. Being stubborn about what I had initially thought and not being open to pivoting would have probably left me with a business that never took off. Dreams and goals are often mistaken for the same thing, but they aren't. Dreams are just the first step. It's something you wish and hope to achieve someday. It's aspirational rather than tangible. And that is why so many people never achieve their dreams. They forget the part of taking action. Goals are the path that you take to make your dream a reality. I believe you should dream big, but your goals should be something small and achievable. For example, my personal dream may be to get 1 million followers, but my goals have to be a pathway to get there. And it could be something as small as deciding to post every single day. For Tipsy, my dream is to be the #1 brand in India, but my goal could be something measurable and time-bound, like opening stores in 5 cities in the next 6 months. Neither can work without the other, but both are as important to make something happen. You may have heard the quote, reach for the moon, even if you miss, you land among the stars. I think that describes dreams perfectly for me. Dreaming big shouldn't scare you, and fear of failure shouldn't stop you. Failure is something you should welcome because without that, you learn nothing. When it comes to being an influencer on Instagram, I consider myself a failure. I did it for 7 years and I barely got 5k followers. But because I wasn't doing well, I had to keep educating myself and bettering myself. I learned editing, camera angles and settings, new makeup techniques, and numerous things to improve my content. I'm going to show you a very embarrassing video, but when I look back at it, I still feel proud because I can see the passion and desperation that I had at that moment. This was something I shot for Halloween many years ago. Had I gone viral in the first attempt, I would have never needed to innovate and upskill. So my moon may be to be a Huda beauty with a worldwide brand and million followers, but my stars are that I got to start my own brand and create products at the age of 21. You may have seen all these Insta girlies with their aesthetic posts featuring this book called Ikigai. I saw it for years, but as someone who isn't the biggest self-help book fan, never bothered to find out what it's about. One day someone explained it to me and life has never been the same again. Ikigai means the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. It sounds preachy, but what it really means is that you found your purpose in life if your career is a combination of something you love, something you're good at, something you can be paid for, and something that the world needs. It's a very, very rare moment when all these factors come together, and I realized that for me it did. My dream had translated into me finding Ikigai. I love what I'm doing, creating a brand and being the face of it. Turns out that I'm pretty good at it. It's in an industry that's booming and has a lot of potential to make good money. And there is a gap in the market that I can fill. I suddenly felt so grateful and realized this really was my purpose. I always felt very unlucky that I went through depression at such a young age. But when I look at things differently, what I went through helped me find my purpose in life very early. While my friends are still looking for what they want to do and feel passionate about, I'm already in year 3 of running my dream brand. So when I was thinking about how to end this talk, I thought the only appropriate way was to write a poem. Because I feel that really captures what you feel the best. So I'm going to read this. I wrote it yesterday before the flight, so please excuse me. Dreams have an element of magic and mystery, but they can also be the final destination of an important journey. They can be a guiding factor determining every action that you take, providing hope that things will be okay despite every failure or mistake. Use your dreams as motivation and work towards making it come true. Then it will all seem worth it, everything you've been through. Don't be scared or too shy. Dreaming is absolutely free. The bigger, the better. So don't be too stingy. I used my dream as a way to survive, and before I knew it, it had saved my life. Wow. Thank you.